Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into another session of Epic 7 now today. Got some more Backseat battling for you guys. Now, the game is already underway, draft is going on. We have Kev Strife going up against I'm Talos, and it's a champion player going up against an Emperor player. Actually, one of the Emperor players from the Baka Guild, so that's quite interesting. Glad I joined in before the match began, but we see a lot of support units on the right side, and on the left we have, well, we have actually quite a bit of support units too. We have a Tywin, you have Karina, Senya as like sub DPSs, and you have Spectre as like the DPS carry. On the right side we have Payra as a debuffer, Emil Calric as a cleanser. I think Ruel got banned out. And you got Landy as a main DPS and Crow as a sub DPS tank. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see because LR Crow has an advantage against the A Tywin. Landy on the side of LR Crow also kind of hurts a bit because Landy's pretty decent against all the units on the right, maybe except against Senya, but she is pretty decent against all the rest. Payra, actually, now that I look at it, might be pretty decent into the Tywin because look, he cannot get his Fury buff. He cleanses the Restrict and not the Unbuffable. So Karina with the Unbuffable is also really scary. Ooh, she actually gets stunned too. It's really scary here because she can't pop off if one of the allies gets low. So even here, right, even if she wasn't stunned, because Spectre drops below, Karina would have popped off, but she wouldn't get the defense buff because the Unbuffable. And because of the immunity on the right side, I don't think there's anything that Kev Strife can do with the A Tywin, except maybe chip away at the Landy. Oh no, but he's gonna pop the S3. He's saying, screw it. If I'm gonna go down, might as well go down on my own terms. And he's gonna give the LR Crow some cooldown reduction, though. Don't know if I agree with this play because of the, look at the barrier that's on everybody now. The Senya gets to go, but she shouldn't pop her, well, this is the problem, right? If you don't pop your S3, you don't get a counterattack buff. Oh, it's actually a counter Landy! Okay then. She is actually going to get a full burst on her next turn because Senya has that one lone speed buff. So Landy can definitely benefit from that. Calric's going to push the Landy up. She's going to get that full burst. Last bit of fighting spirit needed. 18k HP Landy. Now that is something that I strive to have. That's still a lot of damage coming out, and I don't know, I think Kev Strife might be in a bit of a pickle here. The MO Coward's gonna go, wow, the Payra is still stunning the Karina once more. Yeah, that was very much one-sided, but well played, well played. It was a good try, but I think the match was won in the draft phase. Alright, so this is gonna be the Clash of Titans here. We have Otetsu on the left side from Veritas, and I'm Talos on the right from Baka 11, both representing the global server, and they're both Emperor players. So I'm quite excited to see how this is gonna play out, whether they're gonna take this match seriously, or if they're just going to be playing around. So Aola and Lua are banned out on the left side, and we see Lilius and Briarwitch banned out on the right. Emil Calric's going to be the first pick here. And so Talos going to retaliate by a Karina first pick along with LR Crow. Wow, two sources of true damage very early on. Tetsu's going to respond with an A Ravi, which is very, very strong into LR Crow. And we see Ainos getting picked up too. That's quite exciting because we can assume that there's going to be a full dark team on the left. Now, what we can also assume is that both players are going to be testing out some drafts they don't necessarily want to in ladder. Mock battle rooms like this are a fantastic way to go ahead and test units, test builds, and test team composition. So if you're looking to get into RTA, join a couple mock battle rooms and try things out for yourself. Oh, we're seeing a very brutal and aggressive team coming out from the left. We start off pretty standard with ML Cowric and A Ravi, but now with the addition of Inos, Opsig, and Straze, right? 2 nukes into all the tanky units onto the right. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an issue. Karina, LR Crow are both pretty slow and probably not going to stand too much of a chance against the A Ravi. We see Ruel and Senya. Senya could actually prove to be pretty useful here. But the Ruel might be in trouble depending on the barriers on the team. Karina has barriers, LR Crow has barriers. You know, Inos might proc the barriers on LR Crow, and then we might see an Opsig or a Straze just nuke somebody. Senya is going to get banned out. She was probably the safest pick on the right side, so down she goes, and Opsig going to get banned on the left, so there's no ability to one-shot anybody. The LQC on the right is a really nice pick into all the dark units, but the problem with LQC is that because ML Cowrick exists, she's going to be in trouble because the attack down on LQC from ML Cowrick's S2 is really crippling, and it's one of the reasons she fell out of the meta. Right, so Straze gets to go with the attack buff now, gonna wipe out that LR Crow, down he goes! Now yes, the Ruel does have a revive, but wow, that is gonna be brutal, having to pop it so early. Karina with the defense buff is great, but now who does she go into? She can't necessarily one-shot the ML Cowrick, so the squishiest unit here probably would be the Inos, but no defense break. She has that resistance buff, and most Inoses are built with resist as well, so yeah, the Karina stood no chance at one-shotting anybody here. And so now we have the LR Crow coming back. LR Crow going to be taking the turn after the Cowrick, but Cowrick can just go ahead and put that attack down, look at that, onto the LQC, and that's going to render her absolutely useless. LR Crow can go and rip his S3, which is going to be quite nice. This is an almost 27k HP LR Crow, so it's doing a lot of damage. Ooh, yeah, that is actually quite a bit of damage. You see the Inos absorbing a lot of that. So A Ravi is gonna go. She can try to injury down the LR Crow, but opts to go for the LQC. This is a 19k HP LQC, so she's just going to S1 and just kind of wait out that attack down. Hopefully she can live to see another turn, because Ruel's pretty far back, and Straze is going to be going right after the Inos. They're going to be trying to pick away at this LQC for sure. She's the most dangerous unit out of all of them, because she threatens the A Ravi the most, right? Yeah, they're just going to chip her down, and now the Straze has a soul burn that they can go for. Going to go ahead and rip it, take out the LQC, probably, no, not quite! Hey, LQC hanging in there. Ruel gonna be getting that nice chunky heal for her. Yeah, nice 10k heal there. And now LR Crow got some cooldown reduction from the Straze. Gonna be taking another turn and getting a speed buff here. Finishing off the Inos. Very good. So this is actually much closer than I anticipated it because of that tanky LQC. So, let's see what the A Ravi is able to do here. Still gonna focus down that LQC. She is, of course, the most problematic unit. Wonder if the Karina's gonna go for the Straze here. If we can get a little defense break action. No defense break, but look at that. The Rocket Punch Gauntlet splash damage is so strong. It took out half of Straze's health. ML Cowrick gets to take the turn now. I don't believe he's popped his skills. Yeah, he hasn't popped his skills, so he's going to push up the Straze. Very smart play, not going for the S3 there. So now Straze can go, and he could possibly take out the LQC. Let's see. Ooh, super close, but still not quite. The defense break from the Karina. Oh no. So LQC is going to finally take this turn. Very tanky build to survive all of that damage. That is probably how most LQCs are built nowadays. Just 0 speed and just full-on bulk and damage. Let's see, LQC is going to rip that S3 into the Cowrick. Lot of splash damage, taking out that Straze. LQC healed up a little bit. Now, she did sacrifice damage for bulk, so we do see that it didn't kill the ML Cowrick outright. Ruel's going to soul burn to heal up the team. And now it's A Ravi staring down 4 units. I can't believe this is not what I would have expected. in this match, but this is something that, you know, is high level play, right? Oh, the A Ravi going for the Hail Mary play against the LR Crow, not able to get it, and that is gonna do it here. Could they have waited for another turn? Possibly, if they had attacked, but and then ripped the S3 later. But yeah, that is definitely well played to both sides. Fantastic. Alright, so we have another match going underway. It looks like Talos is just going to be running the gauntlet in this room. So going up against Ensalium, I think that's how you pronounce that name, from the guild Furry Speed on the Asia server. Let's see if they can finally end up taking down Talos. We see the same bands from Talos coming out on the right side. C. Lilius and the Briarwitch Iseria. We got the Ahmed and the Karina pre-band though, and Lua's getting snatched up as a first pick. ML Calric is being hovered over on the right side, and if they go for him, he's not the worst option into Lua. He doesn't care about getting slept, but if he does get reset, it is a problem. The reason why he's not the worst option is because he is pretty bulky, and he tends to be able to survive quite well for the subsequent turns, in which case he can start turn cycling and popping off his skills. But instead we're going to see an Arwell and a Maid Chloe get picked out. That's quite nice. Maid Chloe giving extra resistance to everybody on the team, so she is a pretty decent option into the Lua, given that your units are built with enough resist already. Let's see what the follow-up plays are here. With Lua, you're kind of telegraphing that you might be going for a aggressive draft, so something that's a bit faster. But no, we see a little pivot here into a Bellion. Quite a strange pick, unless the Bellion's on injury for the Maid and the Arwell. We see a Straze coming out as well, so a lot of MO5s getting picked, but there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of synergy going on the team right now, unless the last two picks are going to round it out. We see LR Crow coming in as a counter pick to the Bellion, which is very, very strong. LR Crow here is going to benefit from Bellion's all AoEs, right, on her S1 and her S3, getting some cooldown reductions to be able to rip his bike over and over again. So let's see what the fourth pick is going to be here. Hopefully it's going to be something pretty interesting. We have a full light team going on the right. Oh, okay, never mind. That pattern has been broken. We got a Pirate Captain Flan excelling in control. We have her able to plant bombs, especially with Samurai Syria's artifact. So you're able to plant bombs, and her S1 is able to detonate bombs. The power in her kit is that she can actually land Samurai Series bombs on a miss, because artifacts can still proc on misses, and even if you miss, her S1 skill of detonating still applies. So even if you hit evasion units, or if you're blinded, you can still detonate your bombs on them, and it's a stun on demand, right? Which is quite scary. Landy's gonna get picked out. Pretty good option into the LR Crow, but A Tywin's a bit more questionable. A Tywin's pretty decent into Pirate Captain Flan, be able to cleanse the bombs, but into LR Crow, not really, because of that immunity buff that's going to be on everybody. So let's see what is going to get picked out here. The Hua Young is getting hovered over. Haven't seen Hua Young in a while, but nope, seems like Talos is reconsidering and opting to go for the Fire Charlotte, who is really good into Landy. So we see A Tywin getting banned out along with the LR Crow. So yeah, that makes a bit of sense, because LR Crow had to be banned if A Tywin was picked. And A Tywin is really good into the Pirate Captain Flan. So I can see why that both of those units were banned out. Right, Lua's gonna pop off and use her skill 2. Oh, the Pirate Captain Flan resisted the sleep though, which is very unfortunate. Hopefully the reset goes through here. No, full on resist, except for the Charlotte. But the problem is Charlotte actually doesn't have skill cooldowns. So this might actually be an interesting resistance Pirate Captain Flan. Let's see what the Straze can do. He's gonna rip his S3. Is this gonna kill the Arwell? Oh, it is! Arwell goes down, so the Charlotte gets to go. Oh, but that's a lot of damage. Bellion gets a little heal at the start of her turn. Can she get that provoke here onto that Pirate Captain Flan? If she resists this one, it definitely means it's a resistance build. Yeah, she's resisting, so it's a resist Pirate Captain Flan, which means she might not be carrying the most effectiveness in the world. So we'll see how this goes. Arwell gets to go as well. Wow, so there's going to be 2 stuns coming out, right? Arwell can strip the invincibility off of the Straze, but actually no, they can't. He's actually stealthed. Hey, look at that. That's pretty nice. Lua with her artifact right there. So yeah, Straze is still stealth. He does have the bomb on him and he is invincible, but that means that Landy might go down here or Bellion might get stunned. One of those 2 options. We're gonna see the Bellion get stunned instead. Probably because the Pirate Captain Flan, yeah, so the burn is gonna finish off the Landy. Lua cannot go for any extra turns here. Nice little dual attack from the Straze. He's actually going to be taking the turn now. He's going to just rip it S2, not even going to soul burn it, going to strip off all of the buffs from the Maid Chloe, the Pirate Captain Flan, and the Arwell. But down goes the Straze. The Pirate Captain Flan doing work here. I can't believe it. That is a full resist Pirate Captain Flan. Or the luckiest one to sail the 7 seas. Who knows? But Maid gonna hit the stunned Bellion, push up the team, and we're gonna see Arwell, yeah, chipping away at the Bellion. So down goes the Bellion from the burn, and then down goes the Lua from the bomb. Talos still hanging in there, and still reigning supreme. Alright, so we got another match underway. Justice GP against Talos. Really is running the gauntlet here. Now, Justice is actually from a good guild, Palladia, I believe. I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly, but I do recognize that guild. They're always in the top. You can see by the guild crest. But yeah, let's see how they do in RTA here. With an Ahmed first pick, Zio and Lua are banned out. Alright. With an Ahmed first pick, we're going to see ML Cowrick get snatched up on the right side, along with A-Ra. So Talos here is actually showing how versatile they are with the units and the rosters that they have built. In every single match, I think they've been playing with a different variation of units, different supports, right, at least a different mix of them, along with different DPSs to utilize. So we see Ruel getting picked out, Archdemon as well. Okay, we have Flitica on the left along with Aiden. Aiden can pose a bit of an issue for the Archdemon, but Ruel is actually not too bad here, I would say. The Flitica's pretty decent into ML Cowrick, though, so we'll see how that plays out. She can also reset the Ruel. Straze gonna get picked up for that extra damage and burst to take down the A-Raz. Solitaria wouldn't be a bad option either, because it prevents the Archdemon from building up her focus. But instead, I see the opponents kind of looking around. Justice is looking for other options. Ends up still going for the Solitaria here, which is a pretty solid pick. Now, Talos has one more unit to draft at the end. SSB would be quite interesting to see. She is actually pretty decent into everybody, except maybe the Solitaria. But I think the Solitaria might be the ban. Although it's really hard to tell. It's a really fast team on the left side. If you tank down a bit too much, it's going to be an issue. So we already know the Solitaria is getting banned because the Archdemon and SSB both rely on focus. Wonder what the ban is going to be on the right side, though. Could be Ruel, could be ML Cowrick, for all we know. The team isn't really fast, so perhaps Flitica gets through and the ML Cowrick or the Ruel gets banned. Oh no, but we see the Archdemon going bye-bye. It's gonna be solid SSB versus the World. Okay, so Solitary and Archdemon are gone. Let's see how this plays out. Yeah, so with this match starting here, I mean, Talos has shown that they have really unique builds that affect resistance. Pirate Captain Flan, for instance, something that you would never expect to happen, and also that almost 20 KHP LQC. You love to see it. Okay, so Ahmed is going to pop off here and give the Straze the attack buff, so this is going to be a guarantee kill on the Araz, I believe. Oh no, the ML Cowrick was the one that had the highest health, surprisingly. Is Flitica going to be able to do this? Let's see. She actually goes for the S2, which is a bit surprising, because now everyone's defense broken. Aiden has the attack buff though, and she is going to go in. Gonna go in onto the Ruel. Okay. Araz actually still surviving. Quite impressive. Ruel could revive here and bring back the ML Cowrick, but nope. He's gonna go and heal up the Araz. So everyone does have invincibility, which is quite nice, but everyone's still defense broken too. Ahmed doesn't have any cleansing in her kit, except for her S3, which she already popped in the previous turn. So we're going to see the Flitica try to reset the Ruel. This will grant skill nullifier to everybody, which is quite nice. And there's no revive that's going to be coming out on the right side either. Strazi is going to soul burn that S2, and Bologna is going to be popping off here. Okay, so thankfully the skill null is still on the Ahmed and the Straze. Flitica lost her skill null, but she is stealthed. The Araz could go for an S3. Yeah, there we go. And heal up a little bit. Now, Aiden could counter here. Yep, there we go. The attack missed. So she goes, and now she'll take another turn. Still has an attack buff. I don't think he'll be able to finish off the SSB, yeah, so by going for the SSB, it actually gave her a bit more bulk because of Araz's barrier. If Araz had been taken down previously, I think if the Aiden went for the Araz instead of the Ruel, it would have been quite nice, but wow, the SSB healing up quite a bit. Look at all that damage! Talos just still coming back after all of his units are so low on health. I think Justice might have actually had this if they had played a bit more conservatively and just went for the Araz pick instead. That way the Aiden probably would have been able to finish off the Bologna without the damage mitigation. It's a 19k HP Bologna and down everybody goes. Wow! That is just insane. That SSB is quite tanky. Alright, so for our last match here, we're going to see Kev Strife jumping back into the ring against Talos for a rematch. We've seen Talos just weather the storm against the onslaught of other players, and we're starting to see what their roster's really like. They have very, very bulky units with 20k HP on their SSBs, on their LQCs, and it's gonna be pretty tough to beat. Even things like Pirate Captain Flan have very non-conventional builds rocking effect resistance instead of effectiveness. But let's go ahead and see what Talos does on their first pick, showing their Emperor prowess. Karina as the first pick is very solid, I would say. She's good in standard, she's good in against cleave. I'm starting to learn a little bit from watching him play. Alright, Kev Strife gets to go, and they're going to have the option of tanking down or going more aggressive. So we see a more tank down approach here with a Yolha first pick and a Spectre Tenebria. Not too bad overall. Yolha is pretty good at punishing. A lot of splash damage that comes in, or a lot of AoE damage, which couples pretty nicely with Spectre Tenebria, who can only really be hit by AoE damage. So now let's see what Talos goes for the second and third pick. Can't really pick LR Crow here, unless you're very careful with the Yoha, because LR Crow's AoEs means that Yoha's going to be absorbing a lot of the damage and be able to rip her S3 in return. So Talos thinking pretty hard here. We've seen pretty good diversity in their drafts. And watching an Emperor player like this is actually helping me as well, funnily enough. Hopefully you guys are picking up some little tips and tricks too. And another thing is, I never thought that Ruel would be that useful in RTA, but you're seeing here that Ruel has been doing a pretty decent job of at least keeping the team alive, which is, again, her duty. We see A-Raz getting picked out along with Ruel, and we see a Straze get snatched up on the left too. Okay. What else would be good here? Into Karina, A-Raz, and Ruel. Straze could definitely punish the A-Raz, although Kev Strife does need a bit more speedy units in order to compete. We see a Mort coming in retaliation to the Shu that got picked out. That's going to be quite interesting. But not really sure what else the Mort would be for. Can't get stunned by the Spectre Tenebria. I really want to see what his build is like. Because Talos has had some pretty interesting things going on in this video. The last unit that they're hovering over seems to be Zahak, but I don't see the synergy that would be in this team. I think the Zahak would be good for punishing the Shu, getting that injury damage onto her. So we'll see how it pans out. Straze, though, does not have... Okay, Senya's a more reasonable pick, I think, here. But Straze doesn't have a CR push or an attack buffer to help him out against the right side, even though the right side looks like they're going to be quite slow, usually probably 200 speed, hovering in that range. You might have some units around 220, 230. But let's see what this last pick is going to be. The Senya is going to be great into the Shu. She has anti-crit, and she has built-in elemental advantage, which does help out quite a bit. The Zahak is going to get picked up at the end, and that is going to help with the Straze. I think he's going to be the one that gets banned out here, to be honest. Either him or the Yoha. Because I feel like Senya's damage onto Spectre, along with Karina's S3 splash damage, could be enough to take her out if the Yoha is banned. But we'll see. Okay, Zahak does get banned out, so kind of corrected my prediction there, because Zahak would have been the attack buffer for the Straze. Senya getting banned out as well. She's the biggest threat to the Shu, who is going to be the carry here. She's going to need to pop off quite a bit in order to take down the Mort and the Karina with a lot of bulk, right? Straze is going to go first, though. He's going to pop his S3. Let's see if he has enough damage to take out the Raz. Oh, he does. 32k HP gone. Yeah, Karina's going to get that defense buff, though, and she is going to be able to pop the skill. Might go into the Shu, which is going to be an issue. Alright, so... Hey, I just made a good pun there. Shu? Issue? Huh? Anyway, so Shu is gonna go ahead and pop off with her S3. She loses defense break, which is quite nice, and gets the anti-crit buff for the team. Now I'm starting to see why Ruel's pretty decent here. Ruel's not too bad into Straze, because you can always revive the unit that gets taken out. Yeah, she's just sitting there all nice and pretty. Mort is gonna be going for the Yoha there. Where's that injury damage coming from? Was that injury damage from the Mort? Huh. Because there's a sliver of injury on the Yoha, and there's a bit of injury on the Shu. But I don't think Mort has taken the turn yet. We will definitely see. Mort's S3 already has injury. But, Spectre's gonna go for the Ruel. She's on Water's Origin, which is pretty typical. People try to focus her down with single target attacks fairly often. So now Spectre is gonna rip her S3. She can't stun the Mort. I don't think she has the effectiveness to stun the Karina, but I guess going for the Mort for some extra damage here. That's a 21k HP Mort, pretty nice. And we're gonna rip that S3. Let's see the injury coming out here. Ooh, okay, nice little injury. Yeah, that is definitely pretty useful. It might be an injury Mort, right? Just I know his S3 already gives injury, but that amount of injury that came out might make him on an injury set. Ra's gonna give the defense buff to the whole team and healing himself up. Shu has her S2 that she can rip. But into who? Alright, there we go. Goes into Ruel. The Water's Origin helping heal her up quite a bit. And now Straze has the S2 he can Soul Burn and use. It'll probably strip all of the defense buffs for everybody. Opts not to Soul Burn. Counterattack from the Elbrus. Uh-oh. So now the Straze is in a bit of trouble. The problem with Ruel is she doesn't do too well into AoE attacks like Straze's. So she... Ooh, but she does get a nice dual attack there. Shu is going to counter in retaliation, but does miss against the Mort. But the good thing about Ruel is that her heals are very chunky. Again, the downside is she just has really long cooldowns, and she doesn't have anything to AoE support the team like Destina does. Okay, so Straze is going to get hit by the Karina, going to get taken out right there. And now the Yolha has the turn. She only has about 12k HP that is missing, so it's not enough to really pop her S3, although she's going to do it anyway. So going straight for the Mort almost took him out. The A-Raz is going to go now, and I believe he still has, yep, his Soulburn S2 ready. Defense break, ooh, onto the Yolha. She is going to cleanse, which is nice. Shu gets a little nice follow-up counter and a whoosh. Yolha's going to push herself up. Mort's going to proc the anti-crit, playing the animation, I see. That anti-crit might actually prove to be very, very useful here. If the Spectre can't kill, she can't kill through the anti-crit. Can she get it this time around? Yes, she can. Mort goes down. And unfortunately, I had to waste the Soul Burn, and Spectre had to use 2 hits for that. The anti-crit lasting on the rest of the teammates too makes it hard for Shu to kill. She is going to get it, even though she missed her crit there. But that is going to be an uphill battle. This Ruel here has her skills, I believe. Yeah, she still has her second skill. So after this turn, she has one more turn before she can revive somebody. She is going to go ahead and heal up the Karina. Good choice, because if Ruel gets hit any lower, Karina could potentially pop off and give her a nice little barrier. So let's see what happens. Soul Burn into the Shu. She's going to counter. Ooh, that means the first hit crit. The second hit crit, this Shu might actually be the end of Talos here. Right, so she takes another turn. And she's going to rip another S2. Ooh, not quite though. No crit into the Ruel. Karina is going to get her defense buff and grant a barrier to Ruel to help her out a little bit. Water's Origin has been keeping her alive for sure. Okay, Karina has another turn. And she's going to go into the Shu. No counter this time around, but Shu's getting super low. The Ruel is hanging in there, but she might not be for much longer. She doesn't have any skills up right now. She popped her S2 last turn, and her S3 is still on cooldown. So she's just trying to finish off the Shu, who now has a clear shot at the Ruel, especially because she doesn't have the anti-crit anymore or a barrier for mitigation. Alright, Shu's going to use her S3. This means that she's pretty dangerous. If you... Oh, never mind! The Karina on counter going to punish that Shu and take her out. Spectre Tenebria going to pop that S3 into the Ruel. No anti-crit to help her out here, and down she goes. Can Karina actually beat the Yolha and the Spectre? I don't know about that, because the Yolha is probably going to have her S3 up fairly soon. Yeah, 2 more turns, 1 more after this. Okay, got another counterattack from the Karina. Rocket Punch Gauntlet chipping away at the Yolha, but the Spectre Tenebria super safe in the back here, and Karina might actually go down, and this might be it. Kev, be able to take down Talos? Perhaps. Unless this hits. If this hit lands, it misses, so there's no splash damage. Oh my god, if that hit, Karina might have just ended it there. then and there. And the counter comes in, but Rocket Punch Gauntlet means that Johan and Karina take each other out. So there you have it, guys. Kev getting the revenge in the end and being finally the first player to take Talos down. But with that being said, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the matches that you saw today, and maybe you learned a thing or two about drafting from our friend Talos here. The Emperor player has been sitting and fighting everybody. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe for more Epic 7 content. And until next time, take care.